January 31st. Not wearing a parka, a hat, earmuffs, gloves, or anything. It's got to be around 50 degrees, and most of you who are from around here, around Connecticut, would say we're having such a mild winter. It's unbelievable. And those of you who are not anywhere near Connecticut know, probably think that a New England winter is this harsh reality, and it's just not happening this year. So I'm taking advantage of this day to come and talk to you from outside on the campus, and hopefully you can see some live things going on behind me. What I wanted to talk about today, obviously, is the discussion you had last week, where we talked about mostly when are there conditions under which people are not ethically, morally responsible for what happens. And I think you could see that there was a differing thought between how you applied the two ethical principles that are primarily used. That one being, the first one being the utilitarian principle, which basically says, if the result is what we want, it doesn't matter how we got there. That's what's important. How we got there, doesn't matter. As long as we got there. And even if somebody did, if the result was for the greater good, well, then that's what's important. The other one was the universalist approach, which is sometimes we talk about the idea of the categorical imperative, which is in certain situations there is only one way and one thing to do, and this is what you must do, and everyone must do in that situation. And a lot of you referred to that when saying, this is the right way to do things. And the universalist approach basically says that. We do the right thing, and what happens, happens. And I think in the discussion we saw that going on. Conditions of it. Because I didn't know, should I have tried to know more? A lot of that centered around the Joe Paterno affair at Penn State. Much of the debate was saying, look, he did what he did because he did what he had to do, where other sides of the debate said, no, a man in his position had an obligation to try to know more. It's not what he didn't know, it's what he should have known. These are ethical considerations that are going to come up over and over again, and we want you to know. Now, this week, we're going to go ahead and move into this area where we probably have heard a lot about it, called corporate social responsibility. It's the idea, what are corporations responsible for? What is doing good business? Is ethical business good business? And you can see the discussion centerized around ethical companies. And we'll talk about business practices in there. So if you go through the text and the PowerPoint, you'll see that's in there. And a big major feature of this week in the PowerPoint in particular is pretty well split out, definitely well laid out in the text. You'll see references to a law called Sarbanes-Oxley. Okay, and Sarbanes-Oxley has been around pretty much since the aftermath of the Enron scandals. And Sarbanes-Oxley puts some very, very strict controls on what public companies in particular can do. And basically what it's done, in a nutshell, is it's actually elevated the level of responsibility for reporting in corporations to a personal level. And if you read Sarbanes-Oxley, you'll understand that a chief executive officer now has to literally sign off and certify that his company's financial statements are accurate, that a chief financial officer must do the same, and that they expect and accept personal responsibility for this. And it actually takes things out of the realm of a civil penalty into some criminal penalties. So we're now saying to you, chief executive, chief financial officer, no more pulling the wool over people's eyes. We have rights and you have obligations to report fairly and honestly, and this law makes it explicit as to what must be done. Now, there have been arguments about that. Is it too much? Is it too little? Is it too expensive to comply with? Is it not strict enough? The interpretation, frankly, is up to you. But what we'll also see when this area of corporate social responsibility is there's some things where we talk about, is doing business well, doing the right thing? Is that good business? Can it be good business? Can it enhance a company's reputation and maybe attract more customers? Or is it going to be just too expensive? Do we cut corners or do we do the real thing? Many options are available, but I want people to read that and understand it. Do you think corporate social responsibility is important, or do you think it's an obligation? That's the important question. And if you are a socially responsible corporation, and we hark back to what we did a couple weeks ago when we talked about stakeholders, it really means understanding who in the big picture your stakeholders are, and are you taking care of them or taking advantage of them? That's what we're talking about, and can it be good business? Okay, so that's really the highlights of the week. I apologize for not getting in a little sooner, and I thought I would be able to, but this is what happens. I'm going to pause a minute. Yep, you heard the Staples delivery van going by, and they were making a little bit more noise than I thought would be appropriate. So proves that this is live recording. And I'd just like everybody to keep up with the discussion boards. I really apologize for just messing up last week and not opening the case link to the Walmart case on time. Didn't even realize, and it was one simple mouse click. I missed it. And it's just my fault. So please work on that this week and use that as your the written assignment, and we'll go from there. Okay, thanks again for all your attention, and I hope everybody's getting what you needed out of the course, and that we keep going forward and picking up some new things every time. As I said, my goal is to come in here, and every time you open the course, look at something in the discussion board, read something, listen to one of these videos, anything like that, is that you walk away saying, gee, I never thought of it that way before. And that's where I hope we're at. Okay, thank you very much.